To install the spare tire rack on your RZR XP, follow these steps. Park the vehicle on a flat level surface. Ensure it is in park and remove the key. Before beginning, identify the left and right pivot brackets. Next, install the pivot brackets with pivot clamps and 4 fasteners for each clamp assembly. Then measure the distance between the clamp assembly and the top edge of the ROPS joint. Make adjustments as needed. Before continuing, repeat this process on the other side. Next, measure the distance between the left and right clamp assemblies. Make adjustments as needed. Then, loosely install pivot pin. After this, align the spare tire rack between the pivot brackets. Then push the pivot brackets against the tire rack and install pivot pins by hand, adding the bushings. Put the bushings over the pin and onto the pivot bracket. Continue to install pivot pins. Make sure there is no gap between the bushing and pivot bracket for the best fitment. Then torque to specification. Next, measure the distance between the clamp assembly and the top edge of the ROPS joint. Make adjustments as needed. Now torque all pivot bracket fasteners to specification. Next, identify the left striker bracket and right striker bracket. Then install each striker pin with 2 screws. Counterhold 1 screw and torque the other to specification. After this, install striker brackets with striker clamps and 2 fasteners for each clamp assembly. Make sure the latch is perpendicular to the striker. Adjust striker assembly on ROPS as needed. Next, measure the distance between the pivot clamp assembly and striker clamp assembly. Make adjustments as needed. Then torque the striker clamp fasteners to specification. After this, center the latch on the striker. Torque the latch screws and nuts to specification. Next, install 1 strut with rod facing down on each side. Finally, check the operation of the latch by pulling the actuator cable rearward to simultaneously release latches from the strikers. To carry a spare tire, use the 3-point tire strap. For more information, see your authorized Polaris dealer or visit Polaris.com.